I dream for all of us to own wardrobes with garments made from sustainable sources, including fair wages for the makers. I aim to motivate and inspire viewers to see the clothes they wear as an expression of their personality and their beliefs. This is the Slow Wardrobe. Come and have a look. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Slow Wardrobe podcast from a very warm and sunny grey shot. I'm tucked away in the corner of the studio. My name is Linda and I will take you on a tour this episode. We're going to have a little walkabout in the hall of Woolfest where I have my stand every year. It's only a little short segment, but it gives you an idea of the atmosphere and the type of exhibitors that were at Woolfest this year. Woolfest is divided up into two halls, one huge one and one slightly smaller one, and the smaller one is the one that I'm in. I absolutely love that hall. I ask to be in the same position every year, which they gracefully acknowledged this year and put me on that corner again. And we had another wonderful show. About that more later though. The other segment this episode is about Layercake, and it was inspired by a couple of things kind of converging. One is the fact that I reknitted a popular pattern of mine called Double Dart. It's a pattern that contains two different designs. One design is a single V shape that very slowly tapers into nothing and effectively can be worn like a long lanyard. The other one is the same kind of V shape, but multiple V shapes in a row. Both designs can be knit with just 100 grams of 4-ply yarn. And of course, I have fairly recently added a 4-ply yarn to my offer called the Yak Blend 2. I've got a Yak Blend 1 as well, which is a blend of yak down, merino and silk. I only do that in very neutral colors, black and dark grey and mole, which is the undyed version. But Yak Blend 2, which is a 50-50 blend of yak down and silk, is now available in a whole range of colors, which I will show you here. And with the new linen colors in Layercake coming out, I realized that I had two colors in that yak silk range that very closely resemble the spectrum of the linen colors. And the colors are the single dart, which is knitted in the color Bitter Lime, and it goes beautifully with the new linen color called Apple. And the other one, the multi-dart, is knitted in Smoked Paprika, which goes beautifully with the new color Brick. I talk about them a little bit more in the Layercake segment as well. But that was part of the inspiration for the Layercake segment this time. And the other one was feedback from customers who see me wearing the play suits and say, oh, I wish I had the courage to do the same and wear play suits as well. And maybe one day I will, but I'm not quite there yet. Well, for those of you who feel that you haven't quite graduated to a Layercake play suit yet, I've got some ideas as to how you can approximate that look, probably with Layercake items that you already have in your wardrobe. I hope to give others that wear play suits already some ideas as well. So here we go, Woolfest, Layercake, and this time no knitting for the person who asked. Andrea's socks are nearly finished. I will show them next time. I'm not showing any knitting updates this time because I haven't made that much to show you because I'm working on multiple projects together at the same time. So they're only progressing slowly. And I haven't really been able to do as much knitting as I would like because of Woolfest. So bear with me on the knitting. It'll be back next time. Here we go with the other segments. That was Elliot from Elliot's Shed saying hello as he walked past me just when I started filming. And that little Mitchell's van was where people were starting to line up before coming into the hall. We had minutes to go before the show was to open. So walking into the hall, this is the back entrance where people can enter as well. You immediately see the side wall of the Slow Wardrobe stand. We always make a feature out of that outside wall because that's what people are looking at when they come in. And you see here the seating area and the tent where there's live music, which is right next to the coffee place. And then if we kind of turn back on ourselves, you start looking into the Slow Wardrobe stand. As we go around, I will show you all the stands and name them if I have the wherewithal to find all the details. But starting here is the Slow Wardrobe stand, showing a most magnificent jacket made by Raggedy, Hayley from Raggedy Rags, who had given us some of her most fabulous creations. Some of you may know that Hayley uses, amongst others, some of the offcuts of the fabrics that we use for Layercake and then turns them into her fabulous creations. She produces proper art to wear. And as you can see, walking into the stand, the wall of 5 Moons yarns. For those of you who aren't aware yet, we now feature 5 Moons yarns on the Slow Wardrobe website. In the middle of the stand, a pay point, you see the wrist rulers there, some of the kits, and some of the utterly smooth anti-chafing cream. There's the linen sets, the gradient kits, and we walk back out of the stand, and then the first stand across from us with all the beautiful blue items were Vivian Morpeth Feltmaker, and right next to her with the nice signs Fold in the Land and the Sea. Then immediately to our left, or your right, is Annie Brown Needle Felting. Lovely stand as well, lots of nice space. And this is Coastal Colours. The Coastal Colours peeps gave us a taste of their gin and tonics on build-up day, and I kid you not, we raced to the supermarket to buy some for ourselves. Then next to Annie Brown Needle Felting is Pink Minis. Good mates we are, and I love the designs of Pink Minis, and that is Sable Yarns. Then at the end of the hall, the long narrow stand is Felt by Bridget, beautiful hats. Next to her is Bavet Limited, the wool bedding. Then the knitting gift shop in beautiful pastel colors and sky blue pink designs. Before we tuck into the far corner of the hall with a huge stand for UK alpaca yarns. Then next to UK alpaca is Andrew Knitwear. You can see the stand's not open yet because the show hadn't actually opened. And next to Andrew is Slow Loris Textiles. Some of the beautiful fabrics that are always for sale by Slow Loris. Across from Slow Loris is Aileen Clark Crafts, flanked by the magnificent Border Tart. Goodies ready to be sold. Then as we move on, I love the blue as the background of the Border Tart stand, we have Elliot's Shed. You will recognize some of the lovely tweeds there because we use Elliot's Shed tweeds. Next to Elliot is Joe's Toes, and then a big stand of hedgehog equipment with, across from it, the gorgeous silver knitting tools and crochet tools from Lynn Roberts Designs, with next to her the felting studio. Then next to hedgehog equipment are the textile traders, and across from textile traders is Yona Mackenzie Laycock. Before we tuck into the opposite corner of the hall with Lucy Lockett-Land, then Rachel John Extreme Textiles, and last but not least, The Makers, with some beautiful felted items. You expect that chicken to start moving at any second, but it's actually felted. Gorgeous. And then we're back round at the seating area, the coffee stand, and the slow wardrobe stand, with a door through to the big hall. We were very close to opening, so I haven't actually gone into the big hall. But that's it, an impression of Woolfest 2019. Good morning from a very sunny grey shot on a very sunny, warm Friday morning. This is a bit of Layercake talk, this time about going it all in one colour, full one colour outfits. This really came about, the idea for this little segment, because of the number of customers that I have who happily buy smocks and tabards, sometimes some trousers as well, but they wear them all separately. Or they have trousers in one colour and a smock in a different colour. And they look at the play suits and they think, oh, if only I had the nerve, if only I could get away with wearing a onesie like that. Well, of course you can. But I fully understand that for some of you, it is a tremendous transition from the kind of garments that you've been wearing all your life to move over to the dark side, that is Layercake. So I've come up with some ideas to help you get used to that idea, to help you get used to wearing all one colour. And this, of course, is one of the most likely candidates. I'm going to show you a bunch of different colour combinations, colours as in full-length colours, but different colorways, so some bright and some more muted. But I thought I'd start with this, which is a smock in a pinstripe worn over baggies. These are the baggies in small and long, which are just about wearable for me with my size 18 bum, but I tend to wear baggies in the large size, large and long. They fit much bigger sizes as well, though. As you may already be aware, all our trousers have, at the moment, the ones that we do, have elastic bands, so they're very easy to wear for a very broad number of sizes. One of my main reasons for wearing the larger size baggies is the fact that with the larger size comes a slightly wider stride. There's nothing wrong with the stride of these, but I tend to take quite big strides and like the idea of not running any risk of being constrained in the size of my steps. Now, I don't actually know whether this would constrain the size of my steps. It's just always been the reason for me to grab the larger size. Anyway, back to the point. Pinstripe smock over pinstripe baggies creates a matching set, and I don't tend to do matchy normally, but with this I absolutely love it, with a smock and baggies, or in some cases a tabard and baggies, or even high-lows instead of baggies. They don't have to be the baggies. The baggies and the smock combination in terms of silhouette and styling, approximate most closely the play suit. And for those of you who want to get used to the idea of wearing that silhouette and wearing something full length in one color, then this is as close as you're going to get to a play suit without actually wearing one. I'll show you some other color combinations as well. So here we have same combination of a smock and baggies. These are the large long baggies. I'll show you the difference, or attempt to show you the difference. You can see from the width at the bottom that most of the extra fabric is to accommodate larger bums, larger circumferences, and any extra fabric just goes into the gathers and make it very comfortable to wear. So baggies with a smock, this time in the small check. And the small check, of course, is our poster child in terms of play suit. As you know, we started with the large check, which I refused to make in any other garment rather than the play suit, which had to do with the proportions of the check and the placement of different colors. So following on from that, we've made this smaller version of the check, which is still just as impactful on a full length garment, but translates much better in these single pieces. So version 2 of a makeshift play suit silhouette made up out of 2 separates. Let's see what it does when I replace the smock for a tabard. It has to be in a different fabric because I don't actually have a tabard in my size in the small check at the moment, so bear with me. But in a way, I guess the monochrome silhouette of the tabard with the baggies will show even better how the silhouette in total changes. You can see the curve of the smock, which looks great on people with bums like mine. And for those of you who wear tabards, I'm about to show you that you too can create that full-length look of trousers with a tabard all in one color on your way to migrating potentially towards a play suit, should you like it. Or you may not have thought that you would ever wear the same top and bottom and actually enjoy it. So for those of you who have never even tried, here's a look at it and hopefully some inspiration for you. Tabard time. Baggies again. I'm going to show you some high-lows as well in a minute as an alternative, but here are baggies with a tabard, this time in the black gingham. Look at the silhouette. See how similar it is to a play suit. Of course, I'll show you a play suit on as well in a minute. And especially if you squint, then you almost can't see that these are 2 separates. There are a number of pros and cons with wearing separates as opposed to a whole garment. Of course, if you wear a play suit, then the bottom of the play suit can work under other outfits, but you cannot detach that top. Not necessarily a problem, it's just that extra layer. In terms of separates, on a day like this where we're going to hit 30 degrees Celsius, or what is that, 85, close to 90? Yeah, it's about 85, I think. Anyway, between 85 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit, then even having 2 layers of linen on may already feel like a lot. And of course, the play suit you can unzip at the bottom as well and wear like a dress, which I do a lot in this kind of weather. Some of you may have seen me do that on the stand as well. Makes a big difference to unzip a play suit when it gets warm. And that's something that you can't do when you wear these separates. But the advantage, of course, is that you can swap and change them with other tops. So pros and cons with both. And here we have Again, the gingham tabard with gingham baggies. I'll check to see if maybe I've got one in the charcoal. See if I can put some charcoal halos with a charcoal tabard and see what that looks like. Ha! I found some halos in the gingham. Who knew? So I'm going to swap the baggies for the halos. Of course, I have some gorgeous customers who just wear a tabard by itself in summer outside. And if you are not just as tall as I am, you know, as you can see the silhouette is not just right. I'm a stickler for proportions. Let's just talk about this for a minute. Yes, strictly speaking, this dress is long enough for me to wear out. It's not ridiculous because of the points front and back. If I bend over, it won't expose my bum. However, it just doesn't look right. Can you see that? Take the trousers out of the picture. And the reason it doesn't look right to me, hiding the trousers, is not because I think I'm too fat or any of that. You know, it's not a body conscious thing. It's proportions. And that's what I look at a lot when I put outfits together, both on myself, as well as designing for Layercake, as well as judging outfits on customers, on you guys. What are the proportions like? And this turns me at my 5'10" into a bit of a blob on stilts, no less. Yes, it makes my legs look long, but it also makes me voluminous in the wrong place. Whereas, crazily enough, if a size 1 tabard on a size 1 person that's only 5'2" or 5'3" puts this together and wears it like a little dress, it looks perfect. That the whole proportion thing changes and it looks nice. It just looks like a cute little A-line dress. And this is just not right. If this dress were about 4 inches longer all over, just like I'm like 4 or 5 inches longer than the average person, then things would be fine again. But now it just looks like a tunic. It's just not quite right. If it would be tighter, so if the silhouette would end up being leaner, then it would look better again as well, even in this short length. I hope I'm making sense. Anyway, I'll keep talking about silhouettes and proportions a lot in future episodes to keep trying to explain what I'm on about. Now, I just pulled this off the rack, so you need to bear with me on the fact that the straps are just hanging down. I haven't tied them on the inside, which is what you would normally do if you would wear a pair of high-lows full length. So here we are, full length high-lows down to my feet. I'm wearing them a little bit low, almost on my hips, because I like that look. And gingham top, gingham bottom, slightly different silhouette. This is more in the direction, of course, of our overalls, but full length in one color with a tabard, and you could just as easily replace this with a smock again in the same color. So whether it's the high-lows that you prefer or the baggies, both can be worn with great success with a matching top. Talking about matching, what you see next to me is a form of matching as well that I'm absolutely besotted with. I'm really warm, that's why I'm wiping my face. It's getting, you know the drill, getting changed on a warm day. And of course I've got some lights on me. I'm not even in a changing room, but my goodness, does it get hot. Anyway, what I wanted to tell you about were the two ladies here to my left, your right. They are wearing, respectively, a play suit in a small check, then a tabard in the new color brick, and then with it a multi-dart in smoked paprika in the yak silk. You need 2 50-gram balls of that or hanks of that to knit one of those, or to knit one of the single darts that's next to it. Next to it is a dress in the small check, worn with a smock in the new color apple, and then with a single dart in the color bitter lime. And in both cases, the color of the yarn is really similar to the color of the linen. It's similar, not the same, but it's close. So again, it's that matchy-matchy thing. And I love it when you have, with floors, for example, you have a stone floor in one color and then it changes into a wooden floor of the same color. And the difference in texture and the difference in surface, I love that. Same here. You have, from a distance, a color that is very, very similar in linen to the one that's been used for the knitting. And then when you get closer, then you see the nuances and the differences and the difference in texture. Whereas this yak and silk has got, yes, it's got that rust color, but it's also got darker shades. It's got like some golden flecks in it. It just lots of variations of the lighter and the darker rust, all caused by the fact that the yak underneath, of course, already had a color of its own. And then the rust close up, you actually see that it's made up out of a reddish color. It's actually a beautiful raspberry color. You wouldn't believe it when you see it up close, but it's a raspberry combined with a green. Yet together they show as a very similar color. Same with the apple and the bitter lime. From a distance, they are very similar, very color coordinated. Color coordinated, all colors are coordinated. I mean close in color, on the same spectrum. And the effect of that is very, very sophisticated. You get a very restrained look. It's restrained and at the same time it's refined. And I absolutely love that. Instead of it being in a big explosion, everything is kind of reined in and held back. But it's no less exciting or beautiful to look at. And if you are keen to make an impact with your outfit, but not be a bit of a headline grabber or worried that it's all too much and too exuberant, then doing something like that is highly effective. Same with this kind of outfit. If I would now grab the gingham wingham, for example, well, why don't I do it even though it's warm? So bear with me. If I start going red, you know why. Managed to grab a couple of different examples to show you. What I was thinking of was the gingham wingham that is done in the colors of the gingham fabric. This one. You see me wear it umpteen times, but you know, here we go again. Just to illustrate the point though, it's not meant to bore you to death, but to illustrate the point of keeping the whole thing muted and in the same kind of colors. So gingham top to bottom, and you know, you maybe add a necklace or something like that to this, or in this weather have something in these kind of colors that's much thinner and much finer. One of the neutrals linen kits, for example, the linen gradients in the neutral colors, I'll show you a picture of it here, and then knit that into either a jagger or a fairly and wear it with this outfit. So it's all kind of restrained and muted. By the same token though, you can go in the opposite direction. And of course, I've got my bright, beautiful, bright gingham wingham here. And you can imagine this to just as easily to be a different pattern. But again, just to illustrate that with a flash of color on the top with a bright, different color shawl. Now this is orange because that's what I have it in. But if you can see my shoes at the bottom, they're a very bright pink. So I can then match the color of my shoes with a very bright scarfie at the top, or some lipstick or some nail polish like I did a couple of weeks ago when I had my brother's wedding anniversary. Kept it all very simple, and then with lipstick and nail polish and shoes, those were the accent colors that I used. Accent scarf color, very effective. Going back to bringing it down to muted colors again and keeping it in the same spectrum. It works with the gingham because gingham shows like a medium gray from a distance. But just when I was grabbing the gingham, Wingham, I saw this one, which would be even more effective on the charcoal. This is the poncho, the Palmyra poncho, that is one of the patterns on the website, knitted in Trinity Twist, medium grey Trinity Twist. And if you wear that, of course, with especially with the tabard, you get the V's kind of copying each other, which is so cool. But then, you know, the rest of the outfit in the same kind of medium grey, very effective, very stylish, very chic, and again, restrained, but different textures coming back in the same color. I'll put a charcoal outfit on now and then show it with this poncho to illustrate the point better. Just before we go to the monochrome look, quickly show you, can't help myself really, just changing the trousers that I had on for charcoal ones, and these could be high-lows just as easily as they are baggies in terms of what it does for the look. So you have the charcoal baggies, then the gingham tabard, and then the poncho. And now I'm going to swap the gingham tabard for a charcoal one to get more of the monochrome look still. Okay, step one. Tabard and baggies in the charcoal. Love the look. Very similar to the play suit, like I already said. Plenty of you already have either this top or this bottom. So consider getting the opposite number of that outfit. So if you already have the tabard, consider getting some baggies or high-lows in a matching color. Or if you already have the high-lows and baggies in a color, consider getting a matching top. Check your wardrobe that you may already have it. Some of you who may not have considered wearing it together. I know I'm starting to repeat myself, but it's just to get you to play with this and have fun and come up with new outfits, especially with different weather. Transitioning into autumn, as the official peeps say. And I'll never be a proper fashionista. I can't take it seriously is the problem. Still, the point is the same though. Once it gets a bit cooler, or once you sit on the deck in the evening, add a layer with a shawl or a poncho, and just to come back to the original point, all one color, top to bottom, highly effective, and just chic, stylish, and fun at the same time. Right, now I'm going to swap what's underneath this for a play suit to show you how similar those two silhouettes are. I may have to put some photographs and stills and swapping the separates for the play suit and then back to the separates, just so you see how similar the looks are. Play suit, here it is, in the charcoal long for me to try and replicate the look. So see how similar that is to wearing baggies and a smocker tabard. So for those of you tempted, potentially not quite brave enough, have a look, see if you've got coordinates at home that go together and try and wear those out and see how you feel in them, or even just try them on in your bedroom and see how you feel in them, and consider getting a play suit. With the warmer weather in the next 2 months, oh my gosh, there is nothing better than bumming around in one of these, being able to zip open when it gets too warm, air out a bit, and be comfortable. In terms of the fact that the sides are lower, the armholes are lower, yes, you wear either a vest or a bralette or something like that underneath it to make sure that you're not completely exposed here on the side. But it doesn't need much. And again, when it's that warm, having a vest underneath it is not necessarily a bad thing. When you get really hot and sweaty or you do a lot of sitting, then it's actually quite nice to have a thin layer underneath that ends up soaking up any sweat that you might perspire. It makes the whole thing more comfortable, and it makes you more confident that you don't end up with any patches all over the fabric. So I hope this has been useful, and I hope I've inspired you to try some monochrome, I don't know how to call it really, top to bottom looks in the same color, in the same fabric, and see how you get on. Let me know what you think about it, and more next time. So I hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed filming it. Boy, did I get warm getting changed into the different outfits. I kept blaming it on the weather, but I think I get overexcited doing this as well. So I think that was probably partially the problem. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back soon. I may have to, it'll probably be August before I'll be able to do another podcast, because we've got Fibre East at the end of August, at the end of July. But before then, I'm going to be away for a week with my husband, just the two of us. The kids, who are all older, stay at home to fend for themselves. They love it when the two of us go together, away together, and they really get how we like that. We're going on holiday with them later on in August, but first it's a little bit of time for the two of us to kind of reconnect, recharge our batteries. We're going to bum into France with our old Land Rover, and if I have a chance, I'll film some footage of that. And then I'll film some footage, if I remember to do so as well, of Fibre East at the end of July. If you guys tell me that you like the footage of Woolfest that I put in this time, then I'll do some more of that. So let me know, give me your feedback, let me know what you'd like to see more or less of, and I will try and respond. I'll see you back soon. Bye-bye.